Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, we're going to be talking about that damn Ben Simmons again. Now, most of you guys already know my feelings on Ben Simmons. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. There's someone that is a huge Ben Simmons supporter, and he always gets upset that I talk about Ben Simmons because he accuses me of not knowing basketball because he believes Ben Simmons is a great player. And the fact that we can't see it, it means we're essentially basketball neophytes. We don't know what the hell we're saying, right? He figured it out. And he coaches one of the NBA. That's right. He doesn't coach any NBA team. But nevertheless, he'll tell you about basketball and act like he was the only one that had eyeballs over the last 20 years that could actually saw basketball. But then again, I digress. Anyway, you guys know that I've always felt that Ben Simmons, at least over the last few years, has been wasting everybody's time. I've done this, and I don't need to kind of go through the past. We all know, right? I don't need to rehash old information about Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons has this thing where you can be minding your business, and then all of a sudden, he'll just pop up out of nowhere and make himself known. Kind of similar to what happened with the Philadelphia 76ers, I believe, when they got eliminated in the playoffs. That he just appeared out of nowhere to leave a comment of him sitting there sipping wine or whatever the hell it was while he watched their demise in the playoffs. So I was going through the internet, and about, let me say, 12 hours ago or so, or 6 hours ago or so, I came across an image on Instagram. And this image was via Bleacher Report. And the image basically said, people always ask me, if we're about to get traded again, where will you want to be? I always say, just Philly. Ben Simmons on Philly being like a second home. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, we're probably going to be in for another Ben Simmons special. So what did I do? I started to comb through the internet, and I came across numerous articles that I want to kind of read from, but one of them is from Marca.com. And the article simply says, Ben Simmons speaks on future, says he would want to return to Philadelphia. Drafted as a #1 overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in 2016, Ben Simmons' career has had its fair share of highs and lows. After being traded to the Brooklyn Nets for James Harden in February of 2022, he faced an especially challenging period. Plagued by knee and back issues, Simmons sat out the entire 2021-22 NBA season and played only 42 games for the Nets. However, he has spent this offseason in Miami working intensively on his physical rehabilitation, and he's optimistic about his prospects for the upcoming season. Simmons told Anscape, Mark Spears, I'm excited because I know I can do it. I've evolved as a player and can't wait to show that on the court. Last season, he averaged a modest 6.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game, numbers he attributes to his then untreated herniated disc. Following back surgery in April 2022, Simmons now claims he's at 100%. He further discussed the ordeal of being physically unfit to play, emphasizing that most people didn't grasp the full scope of his condition. Now recovered, he's amazed at the difference in his comfort and mobility. In the summer of 2021, Simmons requested a trade from the Philadelphia 76ers, and then the article then continues on to say he even filed a grievance against the team for withholding approximately $20 million of his salary. However, Simmons says he harbors no ill feelings toward Philadelphia, describing it as his second home. He elaborated, if I were to be traded, I'd prefer to go back to Philadelphia. So that's what Ben Simmons had to say there, right? That Ben Simmons now seems to be in a totally different mental space, and now he seems to be ready to go back to Philadelphia to go play again. So what happened? I was going through the internet. I came across an article from fadeawayworld.net talking about this very issue. And the article has the headline, Ben Simmons gets roasted by fans for saying he'll dominate next season. The tweet reads, for me to come back and dominate people will be great. I don't intend to come back the same player I was last season because that's not even close to where I am. I get excited because I'm like, damn, I would. One person said, we know that ain't happening. Somebody said, Jigga lying, but you listening anyway. The look when a Jigga lying, but you. Another person said, Nets about to finally win the Ben Simmons and James Harden trade. Another person said, 0 point Ben Simmons once the playoffs start after dominating all regular season. Another person says, he doesn't dominate anyone though. He's a pass first forward. How about you just try to dominate the free throw line before you dominate other players? Another person said, room for him, but won't believe it till I see it. Another person says, all you can do is laugh, man. Yo, and it went on. One more person said, with no jump shot, yo, let me tell you, man, people on the internet are terrible, man. Hey, man, I didn't write those tweets. That wasn't me that wrote that. People are funny, man. People are funny. But anyway, let me compose myself. Back to Ben Simmons here. Back to let's be serious. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. The reason people are saying this is because of Ben Simmons' track record. This is the essential reason for all of this skepticism. Ben Simmons was a very good player. At one point, I actually thought he should have won the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think it was back in 2020. Throughout his career, he's been an NBA All-Star 3 times. He's made an All-NBA team, and he's been part of 2 All-First defensive teams, and he won the Rookie of the Year back in 2018. So it's not like as if Ben Simmons doesn't have the wherewithal to be a good basketball player. The problem is, based on what people have seen over the last few years, is giving people a cause to pause. Now, some people will say, well, at least apologists will say, well, you're being absolutely unfair to Ben Simmons because he was injured last season. Fine, I grant you that. But the year before, you could already see a downward trajectory in his production. In the 2020-21 season, he went from scoring 16.4 points per game to 14.3. He went from shooting 58% from the field to 55% from the field. He did shoot 28.6% from 3 the year prior and 30%, but he doesn't attempt any 3, so those numbers are irrelevant. He then shot 62% from the free throw line. The next year, in the 2021 season, he shot 61% from the free throw line. His rebounds went down, his assists went down, his steals per game went down, and then last year was just an absolute debacle. So it's not like as if these people are saying these things to be mean-spirited. Ben Simmons has a history of doing this. There have been times Ben Simmons has been releasing videos of him in the summertime shooting jumpers, and people are like, man, this guy can actually shoot jump shots. We didn't know this. Then the moment the season commences, this guy wouldn't even look at the basket. So it's gotten to the point where people now don't want to hear it. They want to see it. I'm hearing you tell me that you're going to do X, Y, and Z. How about you actually show me you're going to do X, Y, and Z? And I think that's where people are with Ben Simmons. Now, what's surprising is that he's publicly admitting that he would like to go back to Philadelphia, a place that he was unceremoniously basically threw out of. You remember, he basically turned himself into a nuisance in Sixers training camp where Doc Rivers had to throw him out of the practice. You remember this. So it wasn't like as if they left on amicable terms. That wasn't the situation at all. It was an absolute disaster. And to see the fallout between him and Philly fans, for him to now turn around and say, hey, listen, you know what? I think I'm doing 180 and say, listen, no, I'm ready to come back. I wouldn't mind going back there. It's surprising. To me, it seems like a lot of talk. If I'm Ben Simmons, what I'll be more focused on is less talking and just going out there and letting my game speak for itself. Become an all-NBA caliber player, and then all of a sudden you'll be able to win over some of those doubters that you lost. due to your play. So these are my thoughts on this. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about some of the things that Ben Simmons had to say? Do you take any of what he says seriously? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show.